And may I ask another question as well?
Please.
This to Mr. Deckler. I had some involvement with the redevelopment on Lowry and got caught up in the issue of the late finding of asbestos for a child care center on Lowry. Can you distinguish for me what's happening here in your supervision and monitoring of this site versus what happened on that one?
We might want to have Sheila come up and answer that question if she can, because she was much more involved in that finding.
Welcome. Please introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Sheila Gaston, and I work for the Hazardous Materials Division in JEST program, remedial programs. And I have worked at the Lowry site on the cleanup since 1999. What occurred during the Northwest Neighborhood asbestos discovery was that during the development of putting buildings in and building basement foundations, digging building foundations, that it was discovered that historically an old Air Force hospital had been demolished and debris had been buried in the subsurface at that time. And nobody was aware of it, so the builders were pulling that up out of the basement excavations, and then they ended up spreading it around the neighborhood, and that's what created the problem that arose there.
I know that, but on the child care site, and this is a digression, and I apologize to my colleagues with the hour, but we had the Department of Health monitoring that child care site for a year, looking for everything, knowing we were going to install a playground, we were going to have to dig in the earth, and we had a year's worth of state monitoring that never turned up any asbestos until that problem occurred later, and then suddenly it was everywhere.
I don't believe they were monitoring for asbestos prior to that. You may have been thinking of the proximity of that child care center to the groundwater contamination,
We
which
were
is
looking at
TCE,
groundwater, air quality, and soils.
radon, all those types of things. And yes, then later on, when the asbestos discovery was in that same neighborhood, there was an intensive sampling done on the playgrounds and surrounding the building to make sure that the contamination had not spread by air to the surface soil around that daycare center.
Thank you.
Does that help?
Didn't help, but now I understand. $1 million later.
Councilwoman